Welcome back, everyone. The number of lawyers willing or able to present President Trump in the Russia investigation is actually shrinking, believe it or not. Attorneys Joseph DeGeneva and his wife Victoria Toensing will not be joining Trump's legal team just days after their hiring was announced. Now, the president's personal attorney, Jay Sekulow, telling NBC News the president is disappointed that conflicts prevent Joe DeGeneva and Victoria Toensing from joining the president's special counsel legal team. President Trump on the defensive this morning, tweeting out, many lawyers and top law firms want to represent me in the Russia case. Don't believe the fake news narrative that it is hard to find a lawyer who wants to take this on. Fame and fortune will never be turned down by a lawyer, though some are conflicted. Problem is that a new lawyer or law firm will take months to get up to speed, if for no other reason than they can bill more, which is unfair to our great country, and I am very happy with my existing team. Besides, there was no collusion with Russia except by crooked Hillary and the Dems. Back with me, Midwin Charles, Matt Welch, former acting CIA director, John McLaughlin. Great to have all of you with us. Midwin, let me begin with you, and I want to read you something about John Dowd, because he quit the Trump legal team on Thursday amid what NBC's Kristen Welker was reporting, this kind of building up tension within the legal team. The Mueller investigation, or the special counsel wants to interview the president. John Dowd is saying that is not a good idea. The president thinks he can handle it. He wants to do it. How risky is it to shake up your legal team when you feel there is this heightened tension in what is playing out? This
is like another episode of America's Next Top Lawyer. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. But I think the problem...
Does he stay or does he go?
I just think the problem is, one, you have too many chefs in the kitchen. And whenever you have attorneys who are of a high caliber, who have experience, who know what they're doing, oftentimes they will butt heads in terms of strategy and sort of how to go on. I just think it's really, really difficult, particularly when you have a case like this and a client like this, Donald Trump, who I think we all have recognized over the past year or years that he's been running, that he's uncontrollable, he says what he wants, and he uses mediums, you know, such as Twitter and what have you, to kind of go off on people. So he is not the ideal client. And I'm sure that a lot of these attorneys who were saying that they don't want to represent him are doing so with good cause. They want to protect their license. They want to protect their bar admission.
We'll talk about that in just a moment. But John, let me ask you really quickly about Joseph DeGeneva, because he has been an outspoken critic of the Mueller investigation. He's been taking him head on, claiming at one point that Trump was being framed by, you know, agents and lawyers, what have you. What would be the consequences if the special counsel is removed?
You know, I think if the special counsel was removed, Trump will have crossed the most significant line in his presidency. There will be people in the streets, I'm sure. Someone like Lindsey Graham, who's been very supportive of him, has said that this would destroy his presidency. Whether the Republicans would have the spine to stand up to him in that event remains to be seen, but certainly Lindsey Graham suggests that they would. So I think it would be a disastrous thing for him. In an odd way, and I worked closely with Bob Mueller during my time in government, and in an odd way, Bob Mueller may be his best friend, Trump's best friend, because he will fairly and objectively pursue this. And if he doesn't find anything that amounts to collusion or obstruction, he will say so. On the other hand, if he comes out on the other side, people will believe him.
Yeah, and you would not have gotten that he may have been President Trump's best friend, given what President Trump has tweeted about special counsel.
No, that's been the major change in all of this. Is Trump's focus on him personally about a week ago, which I thought was a grave mistake, but evidently, and I suspect that's one of the reasons
why John Dowd may have called
why John Dowd is stepping aside. Yeah.
Matt, let me ask you really quickly, because the White House has indicated that DeGeneva and Toensing will not be on the legal team, but they may still be advising the president from outside. We were talking a little bit about this in the commercial break. How bizarre, or maybe not bizarre in this presidency, that you have a president who reached out to invite lawyers to come work with him without due diligence to find out that they are representing another client in the Mueller investigation that could pose a conflict of interest.
Yeah, and who knows if the due diligence is them looking under the hood of the investigation and saying, you know what, I got a conflict of interest myself here, I can't really do it. It is bizarre. I think Donald Trump has a history in kind of Manhattan tabloid real estate lawyering that looks a lot different than white shoe DC cover your tracks lawyering. You can bluff, you can get there in the New York Post, you can call people up as someone that you're not, you do all this kind of stuff. You try to intimidate people. You threaten lawsuits. You do all of this. He's trying to do that as a president in a legal tangle right now. There's no mystery at all why a John Dowd or someone else like that would walk in that case, because that is a terrible client. And the tell was the fame and fortune in his tweet.
Yes,
right?
Let's pick up on that tweet. And the president this morning tweeting out that lawyers would love to represent him. Nobody would turn down fame and fortune. What is your assessment? Is that true? Are there lawyers out there who are like, you know what, this is a case I just don't want to be a part of? Or is it rare to find a lawyer who would turn down such a high-profile, significant case?
I think any lawyer who wants to keep their law license would run 2 miles away, anywhere away from, because there are just so many opportunities for the client to lie. Remember, when you are representing, when an attorney is representing a client, they are not allowed to lie. Now, if a client tells you something, and based upon what that client tells you, you make a representation to the person who's investigating the case or an arbitrator or the judge, and that representation is a lie, your reputation and your bar admission is on the line. There are rules of professional responsibility and ethics that all attorneys must follow at all times. And so that's one of the things that any attorney, I think, working for Trump risks each and every time he tells them something that isn't true. Also, though, I do want to point out one thing. In his tweet, when he said that a new attorney coming on board would take a long time to get caught up to speed, that is very true. Yeah. That is very true. It's particularly a case of such volume. A case such as this, I could just imagine that the record is incredibly huge. And so for a new attorney or a new firm to come aboard right now, it would take a lot of time and a lot of money for them to sort of get caught up to speed. And all those factors may also be reasons why John Dowd decided to call it quits. Right. John McLaughlin, Midwin Charles, Matt Welch, great to have all of you guys with us this Sunday afternoon. Tonight, Stormy Daniels is